What are you bunnies squabbling? I refilled my tea and I got baby carrots and some rosemary bread. Oh. You get baby carrot ASMR, you get one. Oh, it was wow. That was a good quench. Discord ate it? Fine, I'll turn up my noise suppression. Hold on. Okay, it should be better. I think. Alright, listen to this. You only heard one or two munches? I guess you'll have to check the VOD then. This is a reading stream, not a snacking stream. Or a sipping stream. Okay. So, after breakfast, I clearly explained my immediate plans.
What? Going to school?
Yes. You have a problem with that, Archer?
No problems, it's just...
Archer hesitates, but doesn't object. He must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kind of tell with how I'm saying so. Archer's sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward way. This is my conclusion. No, more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday.
Reed, as you're a master now, you must always be cautious of other masters. School is a place where it's hard to remain prepared against sudden attacks.
That's not true. Look, Archer, even though I'm a master now, I don't intend to change my lifestyle. Besides, a battle between masters is something that should be done out of public view, right? So, if we are at school where there's lots of people, I don't think we'll see any kind of surprise attacks.
See. That's what you've decided. I can only obey. But I can guard you in spirit form, right? You don't intend for me to stay here while you go to school.
Of course not. Not just at school, but I will want you by my side whenever I go outside. It's the servant's role to protect the master, so I'll be counting on you.
I'm relieved to hear that. It's the duty of a knight to answer trust placed on us. I shall do my best to meet your expectations. But Reen, just hypothetically, what would you do if there were an enemy in that safe place?
What? Are you suggesting there might be a master at school?
That's right. It's certainly hard for anyone who isn't a teacher or student to get in. But wouldn't it be a problem if someone already there is a master?
I don't think that's possible. In this town, there's only one family of Magi other than the Tosaka. That other family is declined, so they don't even have a master.
How do you know there isn't a master?
Hey, it's only natural to investigate another family of Magi in the same town. He isn't a master, and his successor doesn't have enough magical energy to become a master, so we can just ignore them.
See. So there is another Magus at the school you go to. You say that Magus doesn't have the sufficient magical energy to become a master. Is that correct?
Exactly. So most masters will probably be coming from elsewhere. I don't think such people would come to the school.
Well, for now at least. But Reen, there are always exceptions. What if there's a Magus at your school that you don't know about?
Like I said, there aren't any. Magi are sensitive to other Magi. If we were at the same school for a year, I should be able to sense other Magi no matter how well they hide it. I will state with confidence that there are only two Magi at our school. One of them's me, and the other's only an apprentice who doesn't have enough power to become a master. Do you understand? Your caution is just needless worrying. It's completely impossible.
That's why this is only a hypothetical scenario. There's always another side to things. It's only natural for unexpected things to occur. I'm saying that when it does happen, don't blame me.
Archer smiles dryly. Just that action makes me want to take it out on him, but if I did, I'd be late for school. That won't happen. A hypothetical is a hypothetical because it won't happen. If it does, it just means my analysis was too shallow.
Alright, I'll remember that. Let's go then, Reen. It should take 30 minutes to get to the school, so we won't make it unless we leave soon.
Surprised. Hypotheticals do happen.
Yes. I'm surprised as well.
Oh.
Surprised. Hypotheticals do happen.
Yes, I'm surprised as well. Well, it pays to argue over everything. Had an unexpected payoff. As soon as we pass the school's main gate, we joke around like that. Around us are the students heading to classrooms, and it's almost time for homeroom. In the crowd of people rushing into the school building, we stand dumbfounded. This isn't just the air stagnating. Is there a boundary field set up already?
It's not complete, but preparation seems to have already started. Doing this so openly, he must be a real big shot.
Or a complete amateur. A boundary field that lets others notice the abnormality is only third class. To be first class, it has to be hidden until it's activated.
So, which do you think it is, Reen?
Who knows? I don't care if he's third class or first class. I'm just gonna beat him mercilessly for setting up such an indecent thing in my territory. I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first-year student walking unsteadily. The student's carrying some stack of papers, and it looks like she's having trouble. I'll help, Sakura. Huh? Tosaka-senpai? What, handouts? World history. That'll be my homeroom teacher. Kuzuki. What was he thinking making a girl do this? Here, give me half of it. Oh, yes. Thank you, senpai. It's fine. So, we're taking these to your classroom? No, we're taking them to Kuzuki-sensei. He said he's recalling them because there was a misspelling. I understand. Kuzuki's really stubborn. He's the guy who canceled a whole test just because there was one misspelling in it. Huh? You mean the school's exam? Right. I think it was last year's midterm. Came in while everyone was filling in their names and said in his usual tone that
The midterm has a misspelling in it.
said the question was not correct, so the midterm was to be canceled and retaken at a later date. We were surprised, but so were the teachers, and they still talk about it today. It's just like Kuzuki-sensei. He doesn't think teachers should make any mistakes. He goes too far, though. You'll realize soon, too. Kuzuki's as stubborn as a rock or a mountain. Tosaka-senpai, you must really like Kuzuki-sensei. It's rare for you to talk about someone like that. Really? Well, I do think you should be more flexible, but... I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. The balance between the two works so well that I think Kuzuki-sensei is a good disciplinarian. He's the stick in the carrot and stick approach. Well, you'll get to see more of him once you reach second year. He teaches ethics, too. More importantly, Sakura, is it alright if I ask you something? Huh? What is it, senpai? It's about yesterday. Were you talking to a strange foreigner? Oh! You were watching, senpai? Just by chance. So, what was it? Do you know him? No. Well, he was a strange person, and he seemed to be lost. He asked me lots of things, but I couldn't make out what he was saying, so, so she ran away. I see. Sorry, I was just a bit curious. No, it's alright. Here's fine, senpai. I only have to hand these to him now. Okay, see you later then. I pass the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to my classroom, I pause. Sakura, how are things? Yes, it's okay. I'm doing fine. See. Well, if Shinji does something again, tell me. He doesn't know when to stop, so it'll only get worse if you don't say anything.
It's fine. You don't need to worry, Senpai. Nii-san has been kind recently.
She says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. If she says, I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and night falls, there should be no one left in the school. Let's begin, Archer. First, we need to check out the boundary field. Once we figure out what kind of boundary field it is, we'll decide whether to eliminate it or leave it. I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across a land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress light forms within them. The boundary field laid out over our school is of that kind. It's not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. Something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I'm in. Such an indirect magical energy intervention has no effect on magi who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So, this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is everyone in this school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is 6. The only people still in the school are me and Archer. So, this makes 7. Well, looks like this is the origin. An 8-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. This purplish-red character only visible to magi is something I've never seen before, engraved with something unknown. Damn it. This isn't something I can handle. The person who set up this boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think, but the boundary field is bound with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I can't eliminate the field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came out onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of this boundary field. This field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it'll literally dissolve all the people within it. There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them. The boundary field laid out over this school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It's a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one magus has ever understood the soul. Souls are only things to be investigated, or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them in a single place. It's because a magus has no use for them, even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. So, if there is a reason, it must be... Archer, are you servants of this kind of creature? I ask coldly.
It is as you suspect. I told you we're basically spirits. Therefore, our meals consist of souls and mental constituents. As you subsist on meat, we subsist on souls and minds. Our basic abilities don't change from such nourishment, but we do become tougher. In other words, our magical energy capacity increases.
Yes. To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately. So, the magical energy the master provides isn't enough?
It's not that, but it doesn't hurt to have more. In war, if you lack strength, you make up for it with supplies, right? It's a basic tactic for a master to steal energy from the people around them. In that regard, this boundary field is very efficient.
Archer's saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which path I'm gonna choose. That annoys me. Don't ever mention it again, Archer. I say so while staring at the mark.
For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently answers, I feel the same way. I do not intend to do so either.
Well, let's erase this. It's meaningless, but it should hinder them a bit. I approach the mark and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down from the Tosaka family. I switch on my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Abzug.
Bedeidung middle stand.
Eliminate. Surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but...
What, you're gonna erase it? What a waste. Oh, what, you're gonna erase it? What a waste.
Suddenly, as if to stop the erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. On top of the water tower, in the sky 10 meters away, a guy's looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. Its grin is wild, and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like I'm an old friend, even in this situation. Is this your doing?
Nah, petty tricks are the Magi's job. We only fight as we're commanded to. Isn't that right, you over there?
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer. As I thought, a servant.
That's right. Since you can tell, I can consider you as my enemy, right?
Spine freezes. Normal, light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard. Scary enough to make me vomit. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is. My reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
Wow, that's pretty good. You seem like you don't know anything, but you grasp the important points. Man, I messed up. Shouldn't have called out to you just for fun.
The man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now. Now holds a red weapon, 2 meters long. I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on a rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushes me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied.
Ha! You got some good legs, young lady.
The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me, to my sides. No, I won't make it! As East Gross? As East Klein? My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather, and I leap.
Rin!
I know. Let me handle it. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds until landing. No, that's too slow. He'll catch up. Fox Gottest Atlas. Archer, take care of the landing. I let Archer take the impact of the landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move to a large field with no obstacles to play to archers and my strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. It's more than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people would only see a blur. But that's...
Man, those really are good legs. It'll be a waste to kill you here.
Meaningless against a servant. Archer! At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. Cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
Wow. The man crooks his mouth. That's good. That's the way to go. I don't mind people who are quick on the uptake.
A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me on the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me.
Servant. Lancer. Oh wait, servant. Lancer. That's right. And your servant Saber. Or maybe not. Who the hell are you? There's no sign of his previous casual demeanor. In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. Weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters are meaningless. You're not the type to engage in one-on-one combat, so you must be Archer. Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. The two counterfeit-colored knights are already watching for the other's clinching blow. Taunchen. Alright. I don't like it, but now we've met. We'll just have to fight. Come on, take out your bow, Archer. I have some manners, so I'll at least wait for that. Archer doesn't respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. It makes me realize being stupid. Archer's just waiting for my word, my command. Archer. I talk to his back without approaching him. I won't help you. Show me your powers here. Is that a laugh? Grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. You fool! What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is a raging wind, the responding spear is a divine wind. The sword is swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust of the high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy didn't permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters, the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving out with yourself. But even so, Lancer closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. Idiot. A mere bowman challenging a close-range fight? His temper is like a burning fire. Lancer closes in with each blow, with no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to come in close to an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning. No way. But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast, even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of his thrusts could be called a final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer's a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed at his forehead, Archer closes in with speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of a lance is a thrust. The basic strength of a lance is in swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range doesn't allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat doesn't allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust certain to strike you is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. The advantage of a long weapon is in the length and freedom of its range. Once Lancer's discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is... Huh? The one in red stops. A nightmare like time is reversing. Thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. No, not just that. The thrusts increase in speed and power without limit, and it becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. That distance.
Lancer uses that distance as a runway to launch an even more powerful attack. Raging continuous attack is only a repetition of that, but the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. No, it must actually be many times more than that. The heavy rain of lance pours down with yet more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. It thrusts like a waterfall with no change in speed. What can Archer do as he's now on the defensive? Such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. There's no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I'll hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest ranked familiars, called heroic spirits, that the Holy Grail summons. So, it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the magus. Imagine, perhaps, a cat in boots. Or a cute white bird. Or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that a mere magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. It's not that the summoning is hard, or even that the ability of the servant surpasses that of the magus. Servants themselves are beings above magic. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the superhuman beings who gained concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death, is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. And after being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether these people existed in reality or only in stories. It's people's minds that create a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity doesn't matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have craved, the greatest human people have created. These are the heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they're beyond human, they can't be controlled by humans. A magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. Can't summon the heroic spirit themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every Asian country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That's why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail can't indiscriminately call unto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form invented by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form, the heroic spirits also need a form to live in this world. That form is their temporary name, and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail is furnished classes, so that the heroic spirit may take form more easily, and only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present, as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role, it helps the spirit to take form. If there are 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Magus, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Berserker. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system. A summoning and contract with a heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition, held only on this ground, the one and only Holy Grail War. A loud crash. The short sword that deflected Lancer's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique. A straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid, even if he had seen it coming. There's no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff doesn't create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between a sword and a lance lies in defeating the enemy when he's at the wrong range. Idiot. There's no hesitation in Lancer. His movement to push Archer back stops. He must intend to end the match in a single instant. He stares at the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. It can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, and heart. 3 shots are launched, any one a fatal blow. But the flash too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hand is the short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword with a hatchet, or like a hatchet. But the biggest difference is... Crap, 2 swords? A pair of swords. And his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. A bowman trying to be a swordsman. Lancer's lance flies. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say that he will not retreat anymore. No, that he'll only advance from now on. Clashing sounds are like well-orchestrated music. 2 steels clanging against each other. The sparking clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the 2 is like a vacuum. It sucks in the air around them, and it seems like anything approaching them would be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant. But for me looking on, it seems to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his swords as a shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown, and Archer loses a sword every time. But it's only for a moment, as Archer has a sword in his hand in the very next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his carelessness. That even though he doesn't know who is before him, he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was still slow compared to Lancer. Movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility. 27. I've disarmed you that many times, yet you still have more. Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same way. According to Father, a servant carries only one weapon. Their weapon's filled with magical energy, so it's not something that can be created one after another like Archer was just doing. Servants are the heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the holy spirits. To put it another way, they're like devils or angels. They're powerful familiars on their own. Their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their noble phantasm. A noble phantasm is a weapon or armor the servant used when they were a hero, and it's treated like a last resort. The noble phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the noble phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer's using will show its power as a noble phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. A noble phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons which rule over all others, which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate their noble phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destructions in legend using their noble phantasm as a catalyst. Noble phantasms are never disposable. Swords that Archer brought out must be excellent. They can't be his noble phantasm. He's the servant Archer, so the noble phantasm he conceals must be a bow.
What's wrong, Lancer? It's not like you to just stand there and watch. Where's the energy you had just now?
You're talking crap, you cheater. Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer fought as a spearman, Archer fended him off as a swordsman, which means Archer hasn't shown any of his abilities yet. Which means Archer hasn't shown... Oh, sorry. So it's natural for Lancer to feel ghastly.
Alright then, I'll ask you. What hero are you? I've never heard of a bowman using 2 swords. On the other hand, it's easy to tell who you are. It's said that only the fastest heroes are chosen as the Lancer, but you surpass even that. There aren't 3 Lancers in this world at your level. On top of that, there's only one with such beast-like agility. Oh, well said, Archer. That instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Lancer's arm moves. This is different from before, a stance free from contempt. Spearhead is lowered as if to strike the ground, and only a stare pierces Archer. In that case, you shall face my finishing blow. I won't stop you. You're an enemy I'll have to defeat sooner or later. Lancer's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns fills the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hands is unmistakably a demonic one, and now it's waiting to take its true form in the moment it strikes. Crap. They'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of noble phantasm that is, but Archer will be beaten. It's implausible since this is the first time I felt such an intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will die when that lance is thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lancer's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Oh. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, no, I know what's going to happen. Can't even help him. Because if I move even a finger, that will trigger the attack. So, if anything can stop this battle and stop Archer's defeat, it would be... Who's there? It would be the chance appearance of a stranger we've all overlooked. Huh? The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. Sound of fleeing footsteps. That figure's definitely wearing a school uniform. A student? Someone was still here? It seems so. He did save our lives, though. Archer says calmly. Well, we were certainly saved, but... My mistake. I didn't notice my surroundings because I was preoccupied with Lancer. Oh, my mistake. I didn't notice my surroundings because I was preoccupied with Lancer. Hey, Archer, what are you doing? Can't you see? I'm resting since I'm free now. Can't do that! What about Lancer? He went after that guy. He saw us, so Lancer probably went to eliminate him. For an instant, my thoughts stopped. Follow him, Archer. I'll catch up right away. Archer goes after Lancer immediately. Damn, how stupid of me! I curse my carelessness. It's the rule of Magi to eliminate any witnesses, which is why, if one didn't want to do that, one just had to allow no witnesses. I've done that until now, so why do I have to make a mistake today of all days? A night where even the moonlight is obscured. The student is lying on the cold hallway floor, and Archer's standing still. Staring silently at the student. The smell hits my nose. The blood on the floor makes it clear it's the smell of death. Follow him, Archer. Lancer will probably go back to his master. This won't be worth it unless we at least find out what his master looks like. Archer goes after Lancer. I'm left alone with the student lying on the floor. She flubbed it. Did I flub? Oh, Rian, I thought you meant me. I can't look straight at him, but I must. This is my fault. This is my fault. This is my fault. Ever since I was a child, ever since I became the successor of Tosaka, I've been preparing for something like this. There's no good or evil for Magi. I've always told myself that this road has only my blood and the blood of others, so... One shot from Lancer's lance, huh? Can't be saved with your heart pierced. I don't know how long it's been since Lancer killed him. Is he lucky or unlucky to be pierced through the heart? I guess Lancer's attack isn't a simple external wound as the flow of blood from the rupture isn't too severe. It's not too severe, but it's all over when the brain doesn't get any more blood. No, basically, if his heart were pierced, he should have died instantly. It's amazing he isn't dead yet. Yes. He's still breathing faintly, as if to give his last scream. That'll only last a few more seconds. He can't heal his own wounds, and I don't have enough power to save him either. I have to look at his face. I should at least do that.
I try to touch the head, facing the ground, and realize my fingertips won't move. They're trembling. I wonder why. I'm used to such things. I've had to make these kinds of choices many times before. Lost many things due to my mistakes and my selfishness. That's why I'm ready for a day like this. So why am I so angry at myself? Sorry. I'll see you off at least. I control my trembling fingers and my failing knees with my will and look at the face of the student. A huge smacking sound. It really feels like I've been hit on the head with a hammer. Stop it! Why does it have to be you? I grit my teeth, not suppress my trembling. I'm really pissed off. Why is it him? Why did it have to be him? I'm not mad at Lancer for killing a witness quickly and perfectly, just as a servant should do. I'm just angry at him for staying late at this place on this day. Sakura's face flashes in my mind. She will definitely cry. And I recall one red-tinted day after school, a long time ago. Distant sunset. Someone always running alone. And a boring girl, staring at that from far away. Before me, the corpse of someone who happened to get involved. There is a way. I might fail and lose my last resort in the process, but there is still a way. No. I'll lose my last resort whether I succeed or fail, so the result for me won't change. It's a mistake. The fact of his death is already determined. It's my fault for not noticing the things around me. It's his fault for unluckily staying late. So I don't need to go that far. Yes, is this what my father, who gave me nothing else, left just for me? A powerful chunk of magical energy, a reliable last resort to win through this battle. A precious, precious thing, just for me. So what, idiot? I shake off the feeling and kneel in front of the one who will become a corpse in another second. And I've done it. Pendant in my hand becomes lighter. My father's memento is drained almost to emptiness and falls onto what used to be a dying body. Well, it can't be helped. Yes, it can't be helped. I didn't have the power or skills to revive someone with a damaged heart, damaged blood vessels, and on the verge of brain death on top of that. That's why I had to make up for my lack of skill with this powerful object. It's lucky he was still breathing. If he was completely dead, no amount of magical energy could have revived him. But since he was still alive, I just did what I could and ended up saving his life. It would have been awful if I failed, but since I succeeded, I guess it's alright. Yeah. I feel fulfilled, to be honest, so this wasn't such a bad experience. I'm just bluffing. Let's go. What's done is done. I have to head back before he wakes up. Yeah, there's no need for me to stay here any longer. Archer should be following Lancer, so I should go home by myself. On my way back, I remember. I left the pendant at school. Just a pendant now that the magical energy's been drained out of it. Oh well. I have no more use for that pendant. Sure, it might have a bit of magical energy left in it. Surely less than the 10 jewels I have. What my father intended to leave me was enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. So now, without magical energy, that thing is meaningless. I enter the house without saying anything and sit on the sofa. Archer isn't back yet. I sigh and listen to the clock for a few minutes. I have to switch gears. What am I doing daydreaming after a battle like that? I jump up and brew some tea. There's so many things to think about. Most importantly, the servants. I've just witnessed a battle between servants I'd previously only understood intellectually. Lancer, huh? I panicked when he almost used his noble phantasm, but I would have found out his identity if he'd used it. The easiest way to beat an enemy servant is to learn their identity. Ignoring for the moment the idiot who doesn't even know his own identity, the biggest weak point of a servant is their true name. Discovering the servant's true name, in other words, figuring out their identity, should let you take a guess at what kind of noble phantasm they might have. It goes without saying, but since servants are heroic spirits, they have a legend associated with them. If you figure out their legend, you should be able to find out most of their abilities. Servants are called by their class names because they want to hide their true names. because the more famous a hero is, the more people know about their weapons and their weaknesses. A heroic spirit that becomes a servant never gives out their true identity. The only ones that know the servants' identities are the masters. There's even a tacit understanding that the masters hide their servants' identities when trying to discover the identities of others. This is the Fifth Holy Grail War. The qualities of the servants are determined by the rank of the summoned heroic spirits. It goes without saying that the more famous heroes and the heroes with better weapons are stronger, because it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. To summon a heroic spirit, one must have a connection with them, such as a weapon they use during their lives. Even the Magic Association has few of such things. So generally, one will summon a heroic spirit that suits them, like I did. A servant's strength is determined by the rank of the heroic spirit. But it's not that simple, as even the most heroic spirits may have a hard time depending on the class they're assigned to. That's because of the special abilities assigned to each class, the possibility of the weak defeating the strong. 7 classes each have a different additional ability, and one even has a chance of defeating an opponent of higher rank depending on the ability's affinity. To take an example, an infamous hero has defeated a great hero 4 times in the past. As far as I know, the most powerful servant is Saber. Saber. In all the previous 4 wars, Sabers made it to the final fight. It's said that the 3 classes, Saber, Lancer, and Archer, have strong magic resistance. Sorry, there's a hair in my mouth. Add hair. It's everywhere. God. Okay. To put it simply, magic's pretty much useless against them. It's because they're fighters who fought through the Age of Myths, when magics were used widely. Magics that magi use now would probably dissipate just by touching them. Anyways, that's why these 3 classes are considered the basics and the best. Another that's worthy of mention is the Servant Berserker. The heroic spirit summoned into this class loses their sanity. Just as the name implies, they become a mad warrior puppet of their master. The benefit of this is a strengthening of their power, far exceeding the powers they had when alive. However, the more powerful a servant becomes, the greater the burden it imposes on the master. In the past, masters who summoned Berserker couldn't control their rampaging servants, and destroyed themselves by running out of magical energy. No exceptions. The winners and losers of the Holy Grail War are largely determined by the abilities of the servants. Well, I expect there are ways to win it by the master's efforts, but it is basically a fight between the servants. That's why a master should be very careful when summoning a servant. I silently consider the plans we should make from now on. The clock, fixed already, strikes 11 while I do so, and Archer comes home. Welcome back. How'd it go?
Sorry, I failed. Must be one cautious master. Very least, Lancer's master's not on this side of town.
As I expected. Lancer was alone, and it seems his master isn't the type to show up for battles personally. See. Well, I guess it won't be easy.
Yes.
There's no way everything will go as I might hope. So it can't be helped. Let's consider what happened tonight as a tuition fee for the lessons learned.
You seem down, Master. Where are your high spirits? Don't tell me you got scared by that one fight. If you so order, I'm ready to go battle Lancer again right now.
Archer protests silently that we should do so. See, I guess I look depressed. Of course not. I'm staying in only because I don't want to do anything pointless.
Anything pointless?
Well, all the masters aren't present yet, right? Tonight couldn't be helped, but I wouldn't start fighting before we get the signal. My father told me this is one of the rules of the Holy Grail War.
See, so your father was also a master.
Archer nods, understanding. Then
Archer makes a troubled face and starts to ponder something.
What? Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah. There's something I forgot to ask. Reedon, you've been raised since you were small to be a master, and you've accepted that, right? So you've expected to be a master since the beginning.
Of course. Well, there are certainly masters that are suddenly appointed, but I'm different. For the Tosaka family, the Holy Grail has been our earnest desire for many generations.
I thought so. So, you must have a purpose. I forgot to ask you about that. I cannot swear my sword to you unless I know my master's wish. So, Reen, what is your wish?
Wish? I don't really have one.
What?
Oh, Archer's making a funny face.
That can't be true. The Holy Grail is an almighty grail that grants wishes. Becoming a master means obtaining the Holy Grail, so how can you say you have no wish to grant?
Archer's asking with a serious expression. Oh, I see. The master's wish after obtaining the Holy Grail isn't irrelevant to the servant. But it's strange. Father said that servants have wishes as well, but that is their only wish. I don't think Archer should be concerned because I don't have any wishes.
Alright, if you don't have a specific wish, why not wish for something ambiguous, like ruling the world?
Why? The world's already mine. Hey now, Archer. The world is just another word for the things you value around you, right? That's something I've had since I was born. If you tell me to rule such a world, I already rule it.
Archer looks at me with a troubled expression. I'm amazed. The guy really is hard-headed. Ridiculous. The Holy Grail is a power to grant wishes, a power to obtain the world. Are you saying you're seeking it, yet you have no wish?
That ruling the world would be so troublesome, and there's no point in wishing for something so pointless. You seem to lack imagination.
I don't understand. For what then do you fight?
I fight because there's a battle, Archer, and I'll take whatever I can get. I don't know about this Holy Grail thing, but I can just use it when I find something I want, right? As a human, there are infinite things I might want in life.
So, you're saying...
Yes, I'm fighting to win, Archer. Archer's shoulders slump. Maybe he's disappointed in my opinions, but it seems he's finally relaxed.
I give up. You're certainly a worthy master for me.
Ugh. I find it hard to deal with that kind of comment, so I wish he'd stop saying such things. Huh. A servant has no right to choose their master, but I'll ask for the heck of it. Why am I a worthy master for you?
Goes without saying, you're unmistakably the strongest master. No one would be a better master to serve than you.
Oh, thanks. It doesn't sound like flattery when you say it.
I look away because I'm embarrassed. I find it hard to deal with Archer because he speaks frankly like this, even though he's so cynical.
But, well, I'm honestly happy you trust me. I trust Archer, and he trusts me. I don't think this sense of solidarity is a bad thing.
Well then, let's take a break. Even if the 7th master's going to appear, it won't be right now. Wait a minute. Reem, what happened to that jewelry of yours?
You mean my pendant? Oh, I forgot it. It's out of power, so there's no use for it, right?
It's true, but... well, you say so.
Yes. It's a memento of my father, but it's not like it's my only memory of him.
It's no good. Don't have to be that strong, Reen.
So saying. Archer takes out the pendant I left at school. Oh. You went and picked it up for me.
Don't forget it again. It only looks right on you, Reen.
As if he's embarrassed, Archer looks away as he hands me the pendant. I see. Thanks. I accept it. To be honest, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or cool about it. The pendant is as it was. As expected, there's no magical energy left in it. Empty of magical energy, it's just an expensive but ordinary jewel. It doesn't hold any power. But, as Archer would put it, even if there's no power left in this pendant, it still has meaning as something my father specifically left for me. Then maybe I can just laugh off the fact that I helped that guy by sacrificing my trump card. Hey, wait a sec. Something clicks in my head. I wasn't thinking straight back then because of my regret, but thinking about it calmly, I missed something. He saw us, so it'll be dangerous unless we adjust his memory. Basically, Lancer prioritized eliminating the witness over his battle with us. Lancer's thinking probably matches his master's. So, if such a master finds out the guy they killed didn't die, what would he do? He wouldn't let the guy keep on living. I get up from my sofa. It's been 3 hours since then. I might not make it, but after all I did, I have to make it on time. I run through the night. Fortunately, I know where his house is. No, I didn't look it up, but it just happens that an acquaintance of mine goes there a lot, though I've never been there myself.
Honestly, you're just taking on unwanted troubles. Archer's no interest in cooperating.
He was against saving the guy when he was dying, and he's against me going to help him right now. It's midnight. Under the cloudy night sky, we reach the Japanese-styled house. There's no sight of anyone in this house on the edge of the residential district. There aren't many houses around it, and there's no one to come and help if something happens here. My breath is white. A wind starts to pick up. It must be quite strong as the clouds start to drift fast. The supposedly warm wind of Fuyuki sends chills down my spine, making me tremble. Even if Fuyuki City is considered warm, it's still cold on the hill. The air around here is frozen. I strain my ears in the cold atmosphere. In the frozen feeling, I feel a small sense of an enemy. He's here. The servant from before. I bite my lip. His presence is perceptible on the other side of this wall. Lancer's in the house already, and about to kill the same guy again, who's just come home without a clue as to what happened. Just have to jump in and beat him. I'll worry about what comes next when it happens. Just as I'm about to command Archer to go in. Bright white light, like a fallen sun, comes from within the house. Presence is eclipsed by another presence. The wave of power of the servant Lancer is consumed by an even larger wave. The instantaneous explosion of ether of ether gives the spiritual being a body, summoned to overpowered Lancer. No way. I can only mutter, but it's true. To prove it, Lancer jumps over the wall and leaps away as if fleeing from this place. Hey, Archer, is this another one of your hypothetical scenarios? I don't know, but this makes 7. All the masters are here now, Reen. Archer answers calmly. I've lost my normal judgment. That's why I didn't even consider the obvious event that would follow. The wind blows strongly. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. The unlit suburbs are enclosed by darkness. And the servant jumps over the wall, coming down like a demonic bird. Archer's reacted already, but I couldn't react. That was my mistake. The battle ended with that small opening, not lasting even a second. It might have been only a second for me, but for that servant, it was an opening that couldn't be ignored. A sword rushes for me. Archer! Archer pushes me aside and the servant slashes him. It happens in an instant. Archer, who handled Lancer's fury of attacks beautifully, has been taken down with one blow. Archer, disappear! But I make it in time this time. Just as the enemy servant is about to cut off Archer's head with her blade, I forcibly remove him. Pain in my right hand. It must have been an excessive command, so a command spell has disappeared from my hand. Now there's only one remaining, but this is for the best. Rather than having Archer die, I'd prefer to lose 1 or 2 command spells. Giving no consideration to Archer's disappearance, the servant attacks me. Don't underestimate me! I take from my pocket a topaz with a wind spell stored in it. Then I launch all the magical energy it contains at her without processing it. This thing, which can blow away a house without a trace, is a bundle of wind spells I've stocked up over time. It's one of the 10 jewels I've been putting my magical energy into for 17 years without rest. I'm using all the magical energy stored in it, so even if I can't defeat her, it should at least slow her down a bit. No, not even that. It did nothing. The swirl of wind that instantly tears apart anything caught within it disappears like a magic trick the instant it touches the servant. Such strong magic resistance. Mere magical energy from a magus cannot hurt this servant. So, this is it. She can't be hurt by magic. I've lost the protection of Archer, so I can't stop this servant. I barely managed to avoid 1 blow, but that's all. I look up at the night sky. In it is the figure of cold-hearted death who's looking down on me as I lay miserably on the ground. The wind blows. In between the dark clouds and the spiral sky, the moon shines. The falling moonlight and the beautiful face. This is the servant that drove off Lancer, defeated my Archer in 1 strike, and annulled my magic with no trouble. That magic was splendid, Magus.
Magus. That magic was splendid, Magus. The girl's voice is like a bell. Yes, his voice is like a nightmare now. It's only natural. The more beautiful my enemy is, the more of a nightmare it is, as I cannot believe the difference in our strength. But this is your end, Master of Archer. The point of the sword shines brilliantly. On the verge of death, I understand. Just one look, without proof. This is the card I wanted. The one said to be the strongest of all servants, the hero of the sword. I look up at the moon, accepting my death. There's no time for me to flee or plead for my life. I will die here, until Sakarin's Holy Grail War will end on the third day. There's only disgrace and regret, and I will probably vanish burying a grudge against my enemy. Still, I don't feel anything. Something must be really wrong with me. Even though I'm gonna be killed in an instant, I adore her again. That's right. If you ask for regrets, that's it. But I guess it can't be helped. Because she's the most powerful servant. Because her figure is just so heartless, so infinitely valiant, and so beautiful. Oh? It took up the whole screen, I'm gone. Oh no! Where am I? I'm here. Yay. It's free use. I mean, fair use. It's fair use. It's fair use. I'm talking over it. Stop writing free use in chat. Shut up. Shut up. Shut. The bread sure is good. Yummy. Don't say Friako Yusamura. Stop. Boy, I can't wait for that. Shut up! Thank you, Studio Dean. The PS2 oak. You'll know. You'll know when it's the Vita opening, don't worry. Fate Stay Night is so cool. I fucking love Fate Stay Night, man. Oh, I almost dropped my bread. I got too excited. Real Tanua uses the Dino fee? I think it depends on the route. Prologue completo! Alright. From now on, Shiro is our protagonist. And we will continue on Sunday. I had fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for chilling. And we will be back.